This week in July 1953, the hostilities in the Korean War were brought to an end with the signing of an armistice agreement. Today, no peace deal has yet been forged, and the armistice has been forgotten in the minds of many. In the first of a three-part series by our Moon Conn-young, she takes a look at what's left behind 63 years after the ceasefire.
At the very end of South Korea sits Baekyeon-ri village, a tiny farm town on the edge of the world's most heavily militarized border. It may seem like any other farm village in the country, but the eerie silence here reminds you, this is no ordinary town. This is where no civilians are allowed, merely 4.5 kilometers from the military demarcation line dividing the two Koreas.
The village was planned and built as a settled district, modeled after the Israeli border village of Kibbutz, based on the slogan, "Fight while you build and build while you fight." That spirit still lives on.
Upon a special presidential order in 1973, this town was built on war-ravaged land with 40 to-be-discharged officers and 40 native families of the area.
There are still a lot of live mines buried all around here. The residents of this town never wander off to places where they're not familiar with. They always take the same route, even though all the landmines inside the village have been removed.
76-year-old Chang-hoon was born and raised here in Jangdan County until the Korean War broke out. He was 10 years old. He came back 20 years later as one of the 40 native families.
Sure. Every night, the company commander would hand out rifles from the ammunition depot. Then with firearms, we would go to our guard post to stand duty throughout the night.
Military training wasn't limited to men, he tells me. Men and women were trained with live ammunition and maintained their readiness at all times. In the face of real threats, the residents of this frontline village know exactly what to do as they drill the evacuation an innumerable amount of times to this shelter, several meters underground.
A huge siren goes off and an emergency announcement is made. Then the residents know it's time to evacuate to these underground bunkers.
This windowless room can fit 200 people, and the storage area holds enough water and food for a few days. Last time they had to evacuate was last summer when the two Koreas exchanged heavy arms fire after 2 South Korean soldiers were maimed by landmines. So why stay here? Why stay in this town?
I'm 76. Where would I go? I'm not anxious and I've never thought of leaving. If there's a clash between North and South Korea, we're all ready to fight back. I'm determined to protect my town.
Moon Conn-young, Arirang News, inside South Korea's civilian control zone.